So power of sales are on the rise like never before in Ontario, but especially in Toronto and the Greater Toronto area. But what are they? What does it mean? Who's actually experiencing the biggest damage from it? If you're new here, my name is Zeelan Portnoy. I run a real estate team here in the city of Toronto. For the last 10 years, we've been helping a lot of clients navigate purchasing and selling scenarios, power of sale being no exception to that. So hopefully we bring some unique insight to the table for you and you get some value from it. By the way, I didn't mention before, but feel free to also skip through this video. We'll put timestamps on whichever section that you're most interested in as we go through. I made this custom slide deck just for you, so take advantage of it. So day 0 is the default, or the day that you miss the mortgage payment. And day 15 is actually when the bank issues the formal notice of sale, typically usually 15 days after your default date, but could be a little bit later. Again, it depends you're standing with the bank, or maybe they gave you a ring and it depends on what you said to them, if you're going to pay it in the next few days or weeks, or all of that stuff depends. But the earliest that they could open a window of sale is usually day 35, or in some cases day 40 in matrimonial cases. Very, very few exceptions where they do 45, but that's the earliest the property can legally be sold. But is that when it gets sold? No, almost never is it that early in the process. The banks or the private lenders wish it was, but usually it takes months. We see usually 90 days plus for when a property actually goes to power of sale. You can pay the outstanding amount and bring your mortgage into good standing at any moment in time. If you do that, immediately the power of sale process stops and you just continue things as normal. The banks and private lenders, they prefer that you do, right? As much as they have the leverage in this scenario and have the collateral of your home, they don't actually want it to go to power of sale. They want to just collect your mortgage. They have nice cushy interest payments that they're getting from you. It's less work and headache involved for them, less people they have to pay and keep on staff and payroll. So they want you to just keep your mortgage. If at any point in time you want to make it right with them, they're almost always going to be completely amenable to it. So that's something to keep in mind. I also wanted to show just the sheer amount that they've grown by. So in September of 2024, we had about 600 active listings that were power of sale. Now some brokerages have done some research, and while it's difficult to get an exact number, just because on the MLS there isn't a field that says, click here if it's power of sale or don't if it's not, they can word it in different ways, and different banks and lenders do word it in different ways. So it doesn't make it easy for us to track, but to the best of our ability, what we see right now, we meaning realtors in Ontario, is 1,232 active power of sale listings in September. That's a big number, right? Obviously, it's compared to the general number, which is something like 19,200. So if you're looking at it that way, it's only 1,200 out of 19,000. But the truth is, it is a big number for power of sale. 1 in every 100 is much more than we've had in years past. It's much more than we had in 2024. We're going to get into the years before 2024 as well, just to show you since 2020 actually how it's been going up. But it accounts for about 1.1% of new listings in Toronto. What we want to highlight here is that distressed listings are growing faster, way faster than overall inventory. While we do have increasing supply in the real estate market, a lot more homes being listed than they were this time a year ago, for example, they're growing by about 2 to 3% year over year. But these power of sale listings are growing almost 100% year over year. Again, we had 600 odd in September 2024 and about 1,232 active ones in September 2025. So that's 100+% difference. So the trend line is showing very consistent upward momentum on power of sales, which is probably why they're flooding all of the news headlines and you've been seeing them everywhere all over your feed. It's not random. It's because those are the shocking numbers. It's the growth numbers. And to further illuminate that for you, so we had 4 to 5 a month come up under TREB in the entire Toronto real estate market in 2020. That rose to 33 in 2021, 38 in 2022, and 83 in 2023. So we could see that number going up. But what really starts to get worrisome is when you look at the 2024 average. You get to 159 average for the year. September was an even worse month in 2024 with 204. And in 2025, you have 472 new power of sale listings in September of 2025 alone. But for the drivers, really the main thing is renewal pressure. The renewal wave, so analysts highlight that a massive renewal wave is hitting in 2025 to 2026. More than 60% of mortgages are up for renewal in this period. So a lot of people predicted we have huge waves of defaults in 2023 and 2024. That number went up, right? But it wasn't a huge wave like it's starting to be this year. And probably the biggest reason for that is that they weren't due for a renewal yet. So more than 60% of mortgages are just renewing in 2025 to 2026 alone. So now you're getting loans in the pandemic era of under 2%, under 1% a lot of the time. And now you're having to renew at 4%, 5%. In the last couple of years, it was even worse, 6%, 7%. So these are shocking changes. And also the economy is worse, right? Unemployment is up. We have a tariff war. We have lower immigration. So all of the signs that point to people making enough money to even afford these things are not there as well. And that's affecting people as well and their ability to renew. So a lot of the time, if you can't renew, that goes to power of sale because you're not able to continue making mortgage payments on the property. So here's what it means for buyers. A lot of people ask us, does that mean I'm going to be getting a great deal on the property? And I would really be careful if I were you. Why? Because usually the property is going to be sold as is. All that means is just they're going to be doing nothing to it. What you see is what you get. If you manage to get a home inspection in, good for you, right? Sometimes that'll have to be during the time that the listing is actually live and active because they're not going to let you get a lot of your own conditions in, be it financing, inspection, God forbid the sale of your property and stuff like that. The banks and the private lenders are almost always not going to be having it. If they're going to have any conditions, they're going to be protecting them, not you. And they also kind of bully you into going faster. So a lot of the time you need financing already approved because again, you can't get that condition in. And also they run it like a business, way more than the average home seller who sells maybe every 8 years, if that. These people do it every single day. So they have best practices and SOPs around this where they require them to get fair market value. So they're not going to be giving it away. If you think that it's going to be a super steal of the century scenario, I would advise you to reconsider that because they're not really looking to give it away for a steal of a deal. They actually are willing to be patient and get their money back. They never wanted it to come to this anyway. And now that it has, they're going to be even more picky about who they sell it to. But what do those numbers actually look like? So 90% of them do sell below the asking price. You and I both know that asking price is a very poor statistic to base anything on. It's pretty arbitrary. I could price a $500,000 condo at $1 million and have no repercussions, right? It's not like realtors are regulated to only put things at fair market value because fair market value oftentimes is subjective as well. So the asking price doesn't really tell me much. Yes, there's an average about 5% discount on them compared to other property on the market, but I wouldn't really say that that statistic says too much about the deals that people are getting. You can get it under the asking price a lot of the time. Again, about 5%, in very rare scenarios, about 10%, but not too much more than that. Whereas home sellers right now, if they're really in a distressed scenario and motivated, they might give it away a lot less than that. I've been seeing, sometimes up to 15% negotiated off the asking price if you want to use that metric. So I wouldn't say that they're exactly giving these homes away. Plus, couple that with the fact that you need to be really confident in your pre-approval and your numbers, which how many people are in this climate. If anything, buyers want more protections now, not less. So it doesn't exactly mean a super favorable transaction for the buyer like a lot of people think it does. We really hope that this video helped you clarify some stuff because I see a lot of misconceptions out there. Again, if you could hit the like and subscribe button, really means a lot to us. But that's going to do it for us today. Thank you so much for sticking around, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace.